My 45, male, wife 42, female revealed she wasn't faithful and I'm divorcing her. Our children 15 female and 17 male hate me for it. My wife and I have been together for 18 years. We had our ups and downs, but overall, our marriage has been solid and she was my best friend. We've always been very close with our children and have raised them very much as a unit. And in turn, they're very close to us. About 2 weeks ago, I brought up an advice column in the paper I had read regarding infidelity and talked about it for a bit. And I could see she had clearly started to tear up and was attempting to hide it. So I asked her what was bothering her. She confessed that about 7 years ago, she cheated on me with a former co-worker on a business trip, and then once with him after that before breaking it off due to guilt. This was around the time she left the job for a new one, which she had told me back then was due to feeling like it wasn't a good fit. But now confesses was because she didn't want to work with him anymore. She says she never had a good reason for it. She knew it was wrong then but gave in to the urge and nothing has ever happened since. Claims she confessed now as she can't live with the guilt of hiding it from me. We talked about for the next 3 days when the kids were in school while trying our best not to let them know while they were home. I realized I knew I'd never be able to let this go, nor would I be able to forgive her. She's distraught. We sat our kids down to tell them about the fact our marriage was ending. Obviously, this was extremely tough. They acted as one could expect and blame was thrown at both of us. My wife and I agreed to tell them it was mutual, but I guess guilt got the better of her again because she ends up crying and telling them not to blame me, that she betrayed my trust in the past, and I just told me now, and that it's all her fault. This had the opposite effect that she intended, and now both our kids absolutely resent me for not forgiving mom and ruining our family. My wife has repeatedly tried to put blame back on herself, which only makes the kids double down and defend her more, as if she's the victim. I don't want to drag their mother through the mud, so I'm being trying to explain as factfully as I can. But they're gone as far as saying that when I get my own apartment, they don't want to see me anymore and refuse my suggestion of seeing a therapist together and reject the idea that I still plan to see them on a regular basis and be on good terms with their mother. My wife isn't helping matters as she's been an emotional wreck since I've told her of my plan to leave. I love my kids, but I don't know how to make them understand this without dragging their mother through the mud. I don't know how to assure them this has nothing to do with them or that I'm not trying to punish or hurt their mom. I just know that I cannot get past this. And for my own happiness, I need to leave. Any suggestions in how to get them to stop seeing me as the villain would be helpful. Edit. Guys, I appreciate the advice, but I'm not asking on how to get past the infidelity. I've made my decision, and it's not something I'm willing to forgive. I'm looking for advice on how to handle this with my kids, and how to reassure them we can still be a family even if we weren't married.
It's such a tough situation, because as kids being loved unconditionally by their parents and vice versa, it's so hard for them to see that your love for their mother is actually conditional. It's going to take a while for the sting to dissipate for everyone involved. Just stay level-headed around them, and always reassure them of your love for them, even when you feel like they're hating you. I'm sorry that you are faced with this. I know it is very painful right now, but I'm sure your kids will get over their anger toward you. You sound like a father who is trying to handle this in the best way for the kids. They will see that eventually. My sisters hated my mother when she left my father. Long story short, they have a great relationship with her now, and not with my father, all due to his actions throughout the divorce process. Keep handling this maturely and with the kids in mind, and they will be fine. 21F daughter of divorce here. My parents split up when I was 17 as well. My mom cheated, turns out, throughout the marriage, and my dad left. I initially resented him. My situation was probably pretty different, because it sounds like your wife is a good person and loves the kids, and my mom turned into a monster. I am now totally on my dad's side, and it is 100% understandable that if you know you can't let something go / can't trust your partner, then you have to do what is best for you, and for your own mental health. It took some time, but in the end, I think I have a more realistic view of love and relationships, and a healthy relationship with my dad. Your kids will work through this and come to their own conclusions, but you can't not take care of your issues. I will say, with divorce in general, it is a shit move to try to convince the kids that you are the good guy. All you can do is be honest about your side. Don't try to turn them against the other parent. My mom said a lot of toxic things about my dad, and I wish she didn't try to change my opinion of him. Just to re-emphasize, your kids will come to their own conclusions, and you can only love them in the meantime. Divorce is always tough, brother. The kids may understand the older they get, but you know that infidelity is just more than breaking up with a girl or boyfriend. You forge a life together, and that life comes with certain unspoken expectations, fidelity being number one with a bullet. You're not wrong here. You can't make your kids agree with you. Hell, most of us can say we can't make our teenagers agree with us on anything. She had an affair 7 years ago, and she has had 7 years to get over it. This is old news to her. No, you had a wife lie to you about an affair 2 weeks ago, and have only had 2 weeks to deal with it. This is current and raw, and you are probably not ready to deal with it. The two of you are in very different places. Luckily for you, most jurisdictions require 6 or 12 months of separation before a no-fault divorce, and some even require marital counseling first. Even if you end up leaving, counseling should be the first stop, just so the two of you can co-parent effectively. When your mom and I got married, we made promises to each other. Big ones, the most important promises two people can make. Not only did your mother break one of those promises, but she kept it a secret for years. I still love your mom as a person, but I'm really hurt about what she did and how she hid it from me. I don't think this is something I could forgive and forget, just like I hope you wouldn't if someone breaks big promises with you. I know this is upsetting, but your mom and I think is the best way for our family moving forward. I don't think the whole self-respect thing is wise to get into. Infidelity is a good enough reason to leave for many, but in reality infidelity is something that happens in a lot of marriages, and it is a deeply personal decision what to do about it. I think it would be a lot better to teach them that someone has the right to leave a relationship whenever they want to, for whatever reason they seem fit. Think of the practical consequences too. Like, what if another close family member gets cheated on and decides to stay and work through that? Are they then to look down upon a person they love because they don't make their self-worth dependent on fidelity and the aftermath? That just seems so unhelpful to me. You can't make things better with the kids without honesty. Do you think they don't see what you're doing when you dodge their questions about the reason their family is breaking up by saying it's mutual? How can you expect them to accept it when you cannot even honestly talk to them? They probably already figured it out with the mother's comments about breaking trust. But vague hints and honest discussion are not interchangeable. They are at the age where they can comprehend these things. They will probably still be emotional and angry, but once some time passes and they start to think on it, if you were honest with them, they will at least be able to think on it honestly. If you dodge their questions about it, it'll likely prolong their frustration, confusion and anger. Put yourself in their place. Would you rather your parents talked to you about your family's breakup, or would you rather dodge your questions and tried to keep you in the dark?